Happy Christmas! This is very exciting. Welcome to our Flying into Christmas Salon de la Vie Festival finale. I'm here in the shiniest thing I could find. Comes with its own built-in sort of zhuzhy sounds. It's obviously spangly gold all the way through for us to feel spangly and golden this Christmas. Standing here in the Secret Garden kitchen, aka my dad's house, with his beautifully lit Welsh dresser behind me there for festive Yuletide decorations above, and of course the wine glasses that bode so well. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to start with a little Christmas song, and then in the middle of that song I'm going to introduce to you my special guest this evening. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. So I hope you're all drinking a little something at home. I sent out a little white mould recipe. And I have a little mull here myself. I'm going to ask my first special guest of the evening, the lovely Shazz Andrew, to just help me to have a little bit of that, please, if you don't mind, Shazz. Thank you. Oh, sorry. That's great. That's the lovely Shazz Andrew, everybody. Shazz Andrew, everybody. There you go. And I also have another very special guest. You could just actually get the drizzle off the chin of that. Go see Santa David. Lovely Colin Leggo. Hello. And of course, you'll also hear a little bit from the lovely Matt, who was wearing a festive hat earlier. Oh. Yes, and now is again. Good. So we're all here. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Thank you. How nice that just 3 extra people in the room can make so much noise. Welcome. It's really lovely to have you here. At the end, coming towards the end of a very a full year, a strange year. Here we all are at the end of this year, and I'm very glad we're here together. We've got a lot of different things coming up for you in the show tonight. We've obviously got the lovely people that you've already seen little glimpses of. We've got a couple of different kinds of games. Actually, a game I'm going to tell you about that we've actually made, our first SLG game, and a daft live game of catchphrase that I will be shockingly bad at. You'll get to witness that, and you'll have to play against me at home, so that'd be great. That's where our Colin Santa comes in. And we also have places for you to interact and vote. We've kind of gone for trying to chuck everything at Christmas, which is basically very SLG way to behave. So we've looked at all different traditions. Obviously, board games and tellies is in there, but so is songs, obviously, and also storytelling. And we really love the kind of Victorian classic idea of a scary story at Christmas. So in a minute, I'm going to get Shazz back, and she's going to read you our first, the story of the night. We've got another little reading at the end, which is a very different thing, but we have got this scary story. What we've done is the first vote, there's 2 votes tonight. So the first vote is that you can choose the end of the story. The story is by L.H. Travail, so it's awesome, and it was written for us especially for the R's of Silly. So it's really a story about the mythology that connects us with those isles and all that, and yeah, it's a lovely thing. And you get to vote on how we end that story. And we also have a vote for what song you want us to finish on, because I'll do another little rendition of a Christmas something or other at the end. Matt has been very good, and I've got like a little monitor, and I can see that he's put up the kind of tell them how to vote though, Becca, reminder. And what it is that QR code. You just hold your phone up to the screen, which I think is incredibly cool, and it will take you to a little screen where you can choose either ending, and you can choose the song that you want me to finish on as well. Can they type it in as well, Matt?
No, it's just to select. So this will be just for voting for the song at the end, and there's a choices there.
Okay, so this is like a practice. This is where you're going to go in and you're going to go, oh, I can sing this at the end. Great. But then when you get to the end of the story, that's when the votes for the story one will come up.
Separate link.
Totally separate link. So clever, Matt, so clever. And so handsome in your festive hat. What I meant as well is, can they type that HTTP?
Oh yes, they can type that address.
So if you haven't got a smartphone, if you're on a Nokia or such like, which we welcome it, you can also just type in the code. You can see the code you can see there as well. Okay, so I think it's time to have our first story of the evening, our bit of Gothic Victoriana. It's set in the modern day, but it comes out of that tradition of a spooky story around the candles for Christmas. It was written for especially at Halloween, as I say, by Alex Travail, and I'd like you to welcome Shazz to read it to you. Woo! Good evening.
The Milky Ones by L.H. Travail.
What I have remembered though, hold on, I see that underneath it. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna, nothing happened. Seamless, thank you. And silent with my sparkles.
I'm up to my waist. I'm up to my waist in water and it's getting deeper, and I need you to tell me what I should do. Now I can't hear you, but I can see you when you move, and if you want me to keep walking while I talk to you, then I'll keep walking. And if you want me to wait where I am, then signal me to stop. Which is it to be? Okay, I'll keep walking. I made a mistake, a horrible mistake, and I know I can't put it right, but I'm going to try, and that's why I'm all the way out here tonight. You see, I was walking yesterday, out by Plistry, just walking and thinking on my own. And it doesn't mean I don't like people, and it doesn't mean I don't like you or your company, because I know it's something special. It's just takes some getting used to, and I don't think I'm quite there with that yet, even after all these years. I'm not a loner. Not that there's anything wrong with being a loner. I live in a flat share. I work in co-op, and I don't have any kids. I do have a car. I've got Facebook and Twitter, but I don't have Instagram. I have got TikTok, but I just watch things because I'm too embarrassed to, well, you know. I wear a mask on the bus, and I've had my jabs. I haven't been on holiday this year because I'm saving my money, or I was, to go back to uni. I want to be a physical therapist. I voted for Brexit, but I feel a bit funny about that now, and I don't have any pets. It's too hard when you're renting, and if I could have any pet, it would be a lizard or something exciting like that. That's me. I don't know if you know about me already. I don't know how much you can see me when you're watching. So I don't know if I'm coming back here tonight, and I suppose I want someone to know that it was me that was here, even if it's only you. Well, that sounds really rude. I don't mean to make it worse. It's just I'm frightened, and I don't know. I didn't know what I did, and I know now, and I am sorry. Do you want me to walk out further or stay where I am? All right, whatever you say. So I'm walking out by Palistry yesterday, like I said, out on the flat sand. The tide was out, not as far as out as it is tonight, a normal low tide, and it was just me on my own when I found it. Well, nobody knows, and I've deleted all the photographs, and I didn't send them to the paper. They'd have run them for sure. Probably given it some catchy name like the Owl Man or the Moth Man or whatever man they would call it. But it was too small for a man. It was too big for a fairy or a piskie. Maybe it was the right size for a goblin. I don't know what size a goblin is, actually, though. But it wasn't moving, not at first. It was just lying there on the wet sand, all caught up in the seaweed. And I just thought, oh God, I found a body, and I found a body on the beach, and it's just a little kitty, and I didn't know what to do. I don't often flap about things, but I don't mind saying I was in a right state, out there on my own with a body. If you could have seen it, I would have asked you, and it would have been different, but I was on my own, and I was just going to head back to the phone the police, of course, once I'd calmed down a bit, and it just takes a minute when something like that happens for everything to settle down and know what to do next. But as I started turning away, it moved. It's quite a shock to see something looking like that moving. And I promise you, my first thought was to help. That was my first thought. Oh my God, they're alive. What do I do? What do I do? And I mean, I did first aid at school, but not since. And I tried to move some of the seaweed out the way, and that's when I touched it. And when I touched it, I knew it wasn't a person. It was soft, not soft like furry or soft like jelly, but soft like a biscuit. Like a biscuit when you dunk it into your tea and the bit falls off. Soft like the bit that falls off. And the bit I touched, it fell off. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. It did fall off, and I don't know quite what it was. It was a bit of arm or something. And it came right away and sort of flopped out separate on the sand. And it didn't move. And the rest of the thing did. It was sort of shaking a bit and almost squirming away. And like it didn't have enough strength. And it didn't make much noise. Just a sort of wet escape of sound. Like, you know, when you get up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet and you don't turn the light on and you hear it come out of you in the dark. Oh, I don't make much noise either. I thought I would have screamed, but I didn't. It wasn't about me. It was like whatever I was feeling had faded into comparison to the pain of the thing that thing was in. And it must have been pain, because it can't have been anything else. And then it stopped. And it didn't move again after that. It just lay there, half covered in seaweed. The other half, pale, a patchy sort of stagnant cream colour, a bit see-through. And I could see the darkness of the seaweed through it, and the pale of the sand, but no other detail. Not quite clear as a jellyfish. And I could see why I thought it was a body. It had a very definite human shape, the curve of the hips, the shoulders, the tapering of the limbs, and the round tilted head. It was unmistakable. Then the wind got up, and for a moment it seemed to move again, but this time it was different. The movement was definitely not coming from the inside. And as the wind passed over, the whole thing shook a little. The bit that had fallen off was picked up by the gust, lifted, and skittled across the sand, bouncing and rolling. And that's when I realised it was just sea foam. A bulk of pale sea foam caught up in seaweed, shivered by the gathering wind. And out there at the edge of the tide, I laughed. And I laughed long and I laughed loud. My breath billowing out in great clouds and the wind catching it and throwing it back in my face. And I felt like I was laughing with the wind, but this wind for sure was laughing at me. or trying to shut me up. And that's when I took the photographs. Still laughing, I took the camera out of my pocket and snapped away. I knew the pictures would be perfect. It looked, for all the world, like a figure contorted on the sand, a tiny twisted figure all wrapped up in weeds, soft and pale like a biscuit dipped in tea. And just behind, the tide advancing to reclaim it, white breakers clamouring around the rocks, desperate to reach it, desperate to pull it back to the churning fold. I didn't let the water reach it. I took it home. Out on the sand in the middle of the day, it had me scared. And I knew damn well, for all I'd laugh at myself, in this bright winter sun, come the night, I wanted to be able to climb out of that bed, down the stairs, open the door to my garden to see what was definitely, unquestionably, sea foam. Just to be sure. I pulled off my coat and I laid it down on the damp sand. And I slid the whole seaweedy, creamy mess onto this makeshift stretcher. Then stooping all the way, only just ahead of the tide, dragged my coat and its foamy cargo back through the scrubby dunes, into the car park and into the boot of my car and home. Now I could imagine my photos in the paper. I could imagine them rolling around the internet, people talking about them, talking about me. And I could imagine people believing in them, even though it was only sea foam. And I could imagine them seeing my photos and believing me, believing that I had found something, the way they never did when I found you. Because I've never been able to take a picture of you. I've never been able to show you to anyone. I know you're there because I see you every day, all of you, just the same as that first time. Now, if I'd taken home what I found then, if I could have shown someone else, then maybe they would have seen you too. And then I wouldn't have been taking pictures of sea foam to make up a story for the papers. I wouldn't have dragged the damn thing home to prove to myself that that night it wasn't real. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make excuses. I know what I've done. Do you want me to walk deeper? Or wait where I am? Very well, I'll keep walking. I was walking and thinking on my own because sometimes I need a break. Sometimes I need to be where I can't see you all. On a gusty day when the sea is choppy and the sand is damp and dull and there's no windows, no glass, nothing shiny at all. When I first saw you, you were just something glinting in the sand as I was walking back from a party. Well, it wasn't really party proper. Some friends having a fire and a drink on the beach. New friends. I'd not been living here long. Really lovely evening. Moon was up and I had work the next day, so I stomped off fairly early back along the shoreline and I saw something catching in the moonlight, something shiny and sharp. And I altered my course towards it because it was a bit of glass poking out of the sand, catching the light of the moon. A perfect triangular shard. Well, kids play on this beach. I know that. So I bent down and picked it up and I was going to throw it into the recycle. But as I pulled it out of the sand, I noticed it was a perfect diamond shape. No bigger than my hand. And around the part of the edge was dark metal, like a thin strip of lead. It was part of a window. A perfect, unbroken, small window pane. And the glass was old, too. It wasn't quite smooth. It looked like liquid that had just set. No wonder that bright full moon. I held up this ancient window and I peered through. And I saw the pale sand and the deep sky. And the dark water, all distorted and shifting through this warpy glass. And I saw you. All of you. All the strange figures thronging around, still and intent, the way you always are, human-shaped, pale as sucked skittles, misty and drifting. I lowered the glass quickly and looked about me. Nothing was there. The sand, the sky, the sea, in the distance, and the glow of my friends by the fire. And I raised the glass again, and you were there, smeary, almost white, looking back at me. I took a very long, deep breath, and I told myself I must have drunk more than I thought, or I smoked more than I meant to. And before I could think too much about it, I pulled back my arm and I threw the glass as hard as I could into the sea. I put a bit of a skim on it as well, out of habit, and it skipped 1, 2, 3 times before sinking in, even with the lead. Now, throwing that window away was the wrong thing to do. Someone else might have seen you, believed me, and because throwing it away, it didn't stop me seeing you. Not right away, of course. I went home, went to sleep, woke up, had breakfast, got dressed, got in the car, and there you were, hovering about on the other side of the windscreen. And at work, you were in the other side of the sliding doors, the reflection in the spirit aisle, you were home in the bathroom mirror, the living room window, the stainless steel saucepan lids. And they didn't stop, or fade. Whenever there ought to be a reflection, there was you instead, watching. I don't know if you were always there. Finding that window meant I could see you when no one else could. Or if I looked through that window and saw you looking back, you were deciding to keep an eye on me. I just don't know. 7 years now and you're still there. All the more at the moment because of those plastic guard screens everywhere and everything being kept so clean. You're always watching in a sort of judgy way, like you've been waiting all this time for me to slip up. Definitely no one else can see you. I've checked. Oh, that's a good one, they say. Very funny as they wiggle their fingers, like the Twilight Zone. Oh, the milky ones. I didn't push it, but I did check. The milky ones. Now, I'd not been long enough to know the story, but I know it now well enough that it's full of holes, and I sure know that's who you are. But I don't properly know what you are. Mostly the story goes, you see the milky ones, you're seeing the people from Lyonesse, and the lost land under the sea that used to stretch between Cornwall and the Scillies. The towns, the churches, the people, everything was lost in the flood. The people of Lyonesse took something from the sea. They shouldn't have taken it, and they were lost forever. Fishermen sometimes hear the bells ring beneath the waves, or pull up ancient cutlery in their nets, or bits of leaded window. And sometimes they see figures on the white swell surging around the half-hidden submerged rocks, the milky ones tempting them or warning them away. It's never sure. Now the story goes that the people of Lyonesse, but I'm not sure of that anymore, I think you were the ones they stole before the water took them away. And now I've done the same. It took me a long time to get out here tonight. I walked 3 times as long as usual, out across the dark. The tide out further than it's ever been, and I know what this means. It means it's drawing back before a flood, and it's my fault. Please, let me put this right any way I can. I stayed up last night, propped up in bed, writing my story for the paper, preparing the photographs, getting ready to be believed that I could almost wrap myself up in what feels like at last a blanket. And before I went to sleep, just as I planned, I climbed out of bed, went down the stairs, into the garden, just to have one last look at the boring truth. That brightly lit, scrubby, sheltered garden, to see that sea foam. But my coat had moved. It had actually dragged itself a couple of metres or more. The weed still tangled up in the zipper, and more of the creamy pallor was visible. The curve of the hips, the shoulders, the tapering of the limbs, the rounded tilt of the head, and now blown open a hole of a mouth, frozen in a silent, unmistakable final cry. And it's one of you. It is one of you, and I know it is, but it's broken. It's got lost where it shouldn't be, and it's very, very small. And it's a child, and it's your child. Now, I've got it here with me. I've got it in my arms. And as soon as I realised, I'd deleted all the pictures and all that I'd written, and I came straight back to the beach. I walked out into the water. The water's so far away, and I'm up to my waist. Under my feet, there are cobblestones instead of sand. And I'm holding your child very gently in my coat. The bits keep falling off, and I am doing this all wrong. And I can see an old bell under the water, and I can't hear it, and I can't hear you either, but I can see you. And I can see you all around me, reflections in the water, figures of white, all around, half submerged in these rocks that aren't rocks at all, but houses and farms and churches with diamond-shaped windows, tilted angles, dripping with weed. You definitely aren't the people of Lioness. You definitely aren't human at all. You aren't human at all, but you are people. And I don't know what I believe about people anymore. The world has gone mad over the last few years. The way we've gone, we leave our own out gasping, sure enough. Nothing more for our convenience. And I can see you, and I know you're waiting to rush back into the land and over these islands where my friends are and my family. And I know I don't have any children, and I am sorry that I have killed one of yours, and I didn't mean to. I've got a mum and a dad, and I've got an uncle as well, but he's in Manchester, so he's probably going to be all right at this point. But I don't know how these things work, and I've brought your child back. And I know it's my fault. They're dead. So, how do you want this to end? Do you want me to keep walking with the child further out into the water? Or indeed, do you want me to keep the child there and walk in with it? Now, as the wonderful Matt says, you can look along the bottom of the screen now and you can type in that address, or you can hold your phone up against the QR. And I do believe there is a link in the YouTube chat. But before you find out the ending, here is the wonderful Rebecca Borden.
Reading your storybook, Shazz.
Of course.
Oh, no, thank you. Queer are the ways of a man I know. He comes and stands in a careworn craze and looks at the sand, the seaward haze, with moveless hands and face and gaze, then turns to go. And what does he see when he gazes so? They say he sees an instant thing, more clear than today, a sweet soft scene that once was in play, that briny green, yes, notes away, warm, real and keen. What his back years bring, a phantom of his own imagining. Of his vision they might say more. Not only there does he see this sight, but everywhere in his brain day night, as if on the air it were drawn rose bright. Yes, far from that shore does he carry this vision of heretofore. A ghost girl rider, and though tall tired he withers daily, time touches her not, she still rides gaily in his rapt thought on that shagged and shaly Atlantic spot, as if first tide draws rain and sings to the swing of the tide. So there you go. That's the ghostly side of that. And lovely Sharon Andrew in her very, very classy Christmas jumper. That lovely sort of like navy and like the beige. It was very, it wasn't ostentatious or garish, was it? It was very lovely. But she's rocking it Cornish style. You can't see this below, but by having bare feet and toe rings. So keeping it real, Shazz. Keeping it real. We've had wonderful support from lots of you this year. You've been so, so kind. And this is should be really the very last time you see any of season 5. But as the very loyal, the most loyal amongst you will know, we had a technical hitch. So some of you tuned in a couple of weeks ago for what should have been our second to last, our number 4, which was all about Rosa Parks. And we had not been able to get the footage of the interview. 2 amazing women talking to us for that salon. So thank you for persevering, and that is now I'm able to relate it to you. That is going to be coming out as beginning to next year. It's going to be a little late. It'll be the 5th of January. In what will be, it's going to be the first thing we do, in fact, to mark the beginning of a year where we celebrate Scary Little Girls being 20 years old. And I like to just sort of always afterwards offer up the fact that I started her very young. No, I'm just very old. But she so we're going to be doing a whole, hopefully a whole load of festival things. But we'll start it with that episode about Rosa Parks. And to wet your whistle and say thank you for the fact that some of you were definitely waiting to watch that and were disappointed, we have a little extract. As you know, we have guests in each of the salons, and they do a little performance piece like Shazz did, and then we interview them as well, and I perform either side of it. So here is a piece of poetry, because this is not very festive at all, but it's a powerful piece, and it reflects a lot about this year. Obviously, earlier in this year, one of the biggest, most evocative and kind of the biggest changes we've seen, some of the biggest actions I think have come out of the fact that we've had a lot of amazing work from Black Lives Matter, and this poem really speaks to that. So this is a performer called Kelsey, and you'll see more of her if you come back to the salon on the 5th, and this is her poem from her experience. We know the audio is very slightly out of sync, bear with us, but it's also captioned. Thank you very much.
I should kiss my son on the forehead and tell him everything's going to be alright. I should kiss my daughter goodnight and don't let the bed bug bite. I should tell my son whether your hood is down or your pants is not hung low, the police will always aim for you. I should tell my daughter whether your skirt is below your knees or your top is not low, you will have pervs looking at you. I should tell my son, don't matter what your skin colour is or what brand you wear, always keep your head held high. I should tell my daughter, don't matter what you look like or how you wear your hair, people will give you the evil eye. I should tell my son, when you are a boy or a man, it is always okay to cry. I should tell my daughter, when you make big or small mistakes, you should always continue to try. I should tell my son, even though you say it was not me, you will not be seen as the victim. I should tell my daughter, even though you say stop pointing at me, there will always be racism. I should tell my son to watch your back and be careful who you trust. I don't want you shot dead or in handcuffs. I should tell my daughter to watch your mouth. Kind words is a must. I don't want you not dead or roughed up. I should tell my son, you may shout enough is enough, but your voice will not always be heard. I should tell my daughter, you may scream peace and justice, but not everybody's head will be turned. I should tell my son, you will be proud of your culture and your history, but there are people out there telling lies and destroying our memories. I should tell my daughter to remind yourself of our victory. We've tried many times, years, decades and centuries. I should tell my son to raise his hand. It's not worth showing hate to the enemy. I should tell my daughter to show her hand. All we ever wanted is equality. I should tell my son I will always love him more than a mile or more than half a mile. I should tell my daughter I will always love her with love and smiles. I should tell my son, I should tell my daughter, I should tell my children, I fear for my future, I fear for my unborn child.
So please do join us on the 5th of January when that Rosa Parks episode will go out, and you'll meet Kelsey and her equally fabulous colleague Donna. And we'll chat about the amazing Rosa Parks. I'm going to just I hope by now you've voted for which ending of the story you want, and we'll know whether you are erring towards the light or the dark, which will be very interesting for us. And I hope by now as well you might have voted for whichever song I'm going to finish the show. Oh, Matt is giving me thumbs up. You have done it. You've been doing it. Well, I feel it might be too late to then say, obviously you've all chosen Jingle Bells, I hope. No, I'm not getting anything from that. Okay, fine. So, of course, you can't see, so it might be that you did choose Jingle Bells after all. We'll wait and see at the end how benevolent I'm feeling, because you're devastatingly gorgeous overlord. Anyway, no, I'm glad you're voting. That's really lovely. I hope it all worked. We're laughing at the devastating, handsome, the gorgeous bit, or the overlord bit? Overlord, good, yeah, of course. The rest of it stood as absolutely fine. No one would laugh at that. What we have got for you now is a really lovely thing to quickly share. I'm really excited about this. I know that a lot of people, not me because I'm horribly competitive and hate that side of myself, but a lot of people love to play board games and it's at Christmas. And also not me because I'm completely unable to use even children's scissors in primary schools, but there's lots of people like cutting and creating and pasting, and we've made a board game all about Greenham, the Greenham women, this is kind of a whole geekgasm for me, because obviously I'm obsessed with Greenham, and I walked from Wales to Greenham early this year with a lot of amazing women, some people will be out there watching, and I also am completely in love with Jackie Fleming, and have sort of, bullied and stalked her into being my friend, and I managed to spend loads of time with her, making her draw things about Greenham. So Matt's going to just show you. These are something you can now download, which is so cool. Download on our website. And it's called Embrace the Base. So it works for both. No, you can carry on. You're all right. I'll keep talking. You just keep showing them. And basically, it works for both years, because last year was the 40th anniversary starting. Next year's the anniversary of Embrace the Base, which is this huge action, biggest action since suffrage. So really exciting. And you can see all these beautiful little parts of it. Basically, the way introducing people to all things about Greenham, and it's cooperative, and you get to cut all the little bits and pieces out yourself. So you make your own dice and you make the board, but you've got Jackie's beautiful illustrations to do it with. And it's got both a sort of board and a game element, but it also has what you're looking at just there is the campfire book. So you can go in. This is more the board game part of it, but the campfire book was all the bits about like. Make your own dice. There's Jackie's beautiful pictures. Look at those. And yes, you go in and you can use all these counters and things to do a cooperative version that you pull different things you're going to do out of the campfire book. So it's a lovely package. If you can go on, have a look at it. If you download it and play with it. If you give us your feedback. You can see it uses lots of archive. It's got lots of original songs and things and poems by actual Greenham. There's also ways you can engage with it. But basically, if you give us your feedback on how well it plays and we can adjust it, make it better and better, then it would be great. We'll give you £5 off any hard copies of the game if we get it made next year, which we'll be probably doing as a crowdfunder. And all those proceeds will go towards the Embrace the Base celebrations we'll be doing next year. So it's a big year next year. Greenham anniversaries, Scare Girls anniversaries. It's very exciting. And I'm even more excited than that, though, even more than that, to introduce you to the next. What I'm going to do is, my amazing special guests have created a piece of homage, for it is the time of year, I think, to homage the comedy greats. Usually I sing to you badly on the uke in these salons, as you've already heard twice. But for this one, my lovely special guests, Colin and Shazz, actually put an entire music video to my bad singing. So I would like very much now for Matt to regale you with our version, our little in-house, just for you, in fact, in this house, version of Frida and Barry.
It's horrible, isn't it? I've got pretty heavy soil here at Barstow with a lot of clay in it. And the last thing you want to do when the weather's as wet as this is to walk on it, let alone cultivate it. If you do that, you lose the soil structure, you turn it into mud, and eventually when it dries out, it'll set like concrete, and that's no good for plants at all.
Oh, heck the back.
I'm intent here on growing the earliest crops possible, and that means sowing round about February time. Now, that's quite a dilemma. Well, you can solve it with a combination of several techniques. The first thing to do is to divide the...
Frida and Barry sat one night. The sky was clear, the stars were bright. The wind was soft, the moon was up, and Frida drained her cocoa cup. She licked her lips, she felt sublime. She switched off Gardner's question time. Barry cringed in fear and dread as Frida grabbed his tie and said, let's do it, do it while the mood is right. I'm feeling appealing, I've really got an appetite. I'm on fire with desire, I could handle half the tenors in a male voice choir. Let's do it tonight. But he said, I can't do it, I don't believe in too much sex. This fashion for passion turns us into nervous wrecks. No derision, my decision, I'd rather watch the spinners on the television. I can't do it tonight. But she said, let's do it, do it till our hearts go boom. Go native, creative, living in the living room. This folly is jolly, bend me over backwards on me hostess trolley. Let's do it tonight. But he said, I can't do it, me heavy breathing days are gone. I'm older, feel colder, it's other things that turn me on. I'm imploring, I'm boring, let me leave this catalogue on vinyl flooring. I can't do it tonight. But she said, let's do it, have a crazy night of love. I'll strip bare, I'll just wear stilettos and an oven glove. Don't starve a girl of a palaver, dangle from the wardrobe in your balaclava. Let's do it tonight. But he said, I can't do it, I know I'd only get it wrong. Don't angle for me to dangle, me arms have never been that strong. Stop pouting, stop shouting, you know I pulled a muscle when I did that grouting. I can't do it tonight. But she said, let's do it, share a night of wild romance. Frenetic, poetic, this could be your last big chance. To quote Milton, to eat Stilton, to roll in gay abandon on the dufted Wilton. Let's do it tonight. But he said, I can't do it, I've other little jobs on hand. Don't grouse around the house, I've got a busy evening planned. Stop nagging, I'm flagging, you know as well as I do that the pipes need lagging. I can't do it tonight. But she said, let's do it while I'm really in the mood. 3 cheers, it's years since I caught you even semi-nude. Be drastic, gymnastic, wear your baggy wyverns with the loose elastic. Let's do it tonight. I can't do it, I must refuse to get undressed. I feel silly, it's too chilly to go without my thermal vest. Don't choose me, don't use me, my mother sent a note to say you must excuse me. I can't do it tonight. Let's do it, I feel I absolutely must. I won't exempt you, I want to tempt you, I want to drive you mad with lust. No cautions, just contortions, smear an avocado on me lower portions. Let's do it tonight. I can't do it, it's really not my cup of tea. I'm harassed, embarrassed, I wish you hadn't picked on me. No dramas, give me my pyjamas, the only girl I'm mad about is Judith Chalmers. I can't do it tonight. do it. I really want to run amok. Let's wiggle, let's jiggle, let's really make the rafters rock. Be mighty, be flighty, come and melt the buttons on me flame-proof nightie. Let's do it tonight. Oh, let's do it, I really want to rant and rave. Let's go, 'cause I know just how I want you to behave. Not bleakly, not meekly, beat me on me bottom with me woman's weekly. Let's do it, oh, let's do it tonight.
I love that so much. I love the pie-eyed happiness on both their faces at the end. And I think that there's a very slight flickering in the filming which actually makes me feel like I'm watching something like when I am 8 and Victoria Wood's actually on telly. So I can do all of that. Also, it's amusing about it for me, and this might just be this is a bit of an overshare for everyone watching, but we're all having that weird year, aren't we? Is that my dad's in a quarantine hotel at the moment because he's got married. Hi, my dad got married. Hooray! But over in South Africa, boo! And of course, everything changed, and he came back to it. And so what he doesn't, obviously, he's watching this tonight. I think he better be because he's in a quarantine hotel. What else is he going to do? And so I've just realised that he's literally just seen every single bit of his house, the house that he's not allowed into. This is what happens if you leave your house unattended. The actors just move in like rats and just do their horrible business all over it. Right, okay. Speaking of actors and their horrible business, I'd love you to welcome Shazz and Colin, please, because now we're going to, I'll let Colin introduce himself, but basically we're going to do a quiz game that you're going to play along at home. Me and Shazz are going to try and play here, and we're going to try not to kill each other. So, Colin, the lovely Colin Leggo, just your arm there, you can okay. I'll allow it. There we go. Yes, there you go.
Wait a second, it's not Colin, it's
Santa. I'm so sorry. Father Christmas.
Yes.
Please could you tell us, now, is it Father Christmas or is it Colin who is the pun master?
Yes, well, I
Either way you get a belt, which is...
Yes, Santa's wearing a belt, you can see the belt there. And I did win a punning belt. I was the UK pun champion. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I've won belts for punning. So no one can say that.
No, only you. In this whole room of 4 people. Yeah. Oh, I know you've got a clicker.
Oh, my clicker. I've got my clicker.
That's reminding you about your clicker. So you've brought the power of your punning into this next section of our salon.
Absolutely, because I love a pun, I love a game show, and then you said let's do something to do with the Christmas show. I was like, let's do some catchphrase.
Yay!
Yeah, go on.
Well, so we didn't realise we would have to be competing in this. We just thought, but now we know.
All right, yeah, because catchphrase, very competitive, full of puns. Right? So what's going to happen is, you can play along at home, there's going to be some catchphrases which I've made with the power of PowerPoint. Oh yeah, yeah, it's nothing but officey. And there's going to be catchphrases on screen, Christmas catchphrases, and you can play along at home, but Becca and Shazz are going to be against each other and see who gets the most Christmas catchphrases. Right, so say what you see what you say. No, don't do that. Say what you see. Say what you see on screen, right?
Who's going to keep score?
I'll keep score.
You're going to keep...
Matt's already... Glamorous assistant Matt is keeping score. Okay. All right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the screen. Hopefully people will see it at home. Here we go. Now, how this is going to start, the first 10 fairly easy ones.
Say that.
Fairly easy, I reckon. I'm going to do it one at a time, right? So, we'll start with the lovely, shiny Becca. And Becca is going to have a go. So, if you know it, Shazz, keep it buttoned.
I doubt I'll know it. I'll know it.
Alright, so if you get it, a point to Becca. You know, if you know it, Shazz, tough. Okay? Alright, so here we go. So, here we go. Let's see if the clicker's working. Let's hope that it wakes up in a moment. Is it? Oh, have a look at this. This is exciting, isn't it? There's nothing on the screen at the moment.
There's Matt's not be on it anymore.
Here we go.
He's too busy working out at school.
There we go. It's Colin's Christmas catchphrase. Alliteration. Alright, Becca.
Yeah,
right. Here we go. See, this is not a hard one. I'll go back.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So try and get the screen.
Oh, okay.
Colin's
Let's look at the next one, see if it comes up. Oh, we don't have anything on our screen at the moment. Also, hang on, wait.
it's fading.
Oh, look at that. See, I spent far too much time on the PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Right. Say what you see, Becca. Say what you see.
Merry berry.
Right.
Merry
Okay.
profiterole.
Right, okay, so think. What is this? What you've almost said it.
Merry balls.
Merry balls. It's not merry balls. No. Give me a few more seconds. What is it? You're almost there. 25th December. What is that?
Christmas Eve.
Right.
Merry Christmas Eve.
You said it. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's Merry Christmas.
Yay!
It's hard work.
Wow.
It's hard
Oh,
work.
that was
Right. Okay. 1 point to Becca. Just about.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Shaz, are you
generous.
ready?
I'm so angry.
All right.
Okay.
Don't get angry, Shaz. Right. Play along at home. Here we go. Another easy one for you. Another easy one. What's this? Oh, what's this? Coming up. Say what you see, Shaz.
It's
Say
a tree.
Right. Okay. Good. And what's happening in the tree? Who's
I know
that?
this one. I know this one.
Who's? Come on, Shaz.
It's partridge in a pear tree.
Yes.
It's partridge in a pear tree.
They don't look like pears.
Well.
I got pears from that. I got pears from that.
I got a lemon.
Right.
You are
Partridge in a lemon tree. Okay, here we go. Another one for Becca. Another one for Becca. Number 3. One of my favourite ones. Okay, right. Who's this? Who's this coming up on the screen?
I don't know who he is.
Who that is?
Oh, no.
Oh God! No. No, that's that guy. Oh God! They're 3 guys that irritate me. No.
Right. So what are their names?
I can't remember.
He's pointing to
It's
that
the same again with the. He's also on Bake Off.
He is, but not a
I don't know
Bake
who
Off.
the first one is.
What's their first name?
Is it a Russell? It's not Russell.
No.
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 Ed.
No.
Oh God! He's the House of Fun.
Who's the last one with the beard?
Yes, I know.
He used to do house parties.
Yes,
Someone's house
Noel.
So, and it's pointing to.
2. I don't know who he is. 1. Noel. What? Matt's the 3.
Who's it pointing to?
First Noel.
Do we know it at home?
Noel Gallagher. No. I don't know.
You said it, the first Noel.
First Noel.
Oh my
I don't
God.
get a point for that.
Oh, well, Matt's given you a point, just about. Roy Walker wouldn't have given you a point, he would have left. He would have gone home. Okay. Right, Shaz, this is you now, Shaz. What's happening here is a man with a present. You don't know who he is. You don't know who he is. No, it doesn't matter who he is. What's he doing? He's thinking about something at Christmas time. What's he doing?
He's thinking sheep.
Right, now that is not a Christmas phrase, is it, Shaz? I'm thinking of sheep. What is he doing at Christmas, my love? What does he want for Christmas, Shaz?
Sheep.
Oh, right, okay. Well, if you can get this at home, what type of sheep is it, Shaz? What type
I
of...
don't know a breed of sheep.
Not
Sight like a ewe.
Not a breed. Like age of sheep. An age of sheep.
Mutton.
An age of sheep.
And what age is that sheep?
Old.
No, it's a young sheep. It's a young sheep.
Lamb.
It's right.
Thinking of lamb.
What does he want for Christmas?
Out on the lamb.
All I want for Christmas is you.
Oh.
That's what he wanted for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is you.
See what you
Yeah.
say.
Shaz.
Said what I saw.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
I
was
did
it?
say you several times. Do I get a point for that?
No. Shaz did not get a point either. Okay, so there's Becca. This is for you. This is for you.
Do you like
Okay.
my ones as much?
Right, here we go. Now, what's happening here, Becca? Play along at home. Play along at home.
Is it
Okay.
J?
Right, now who are they?
Rapping.
Right.
Oh.
Bouncing rap. Bounce. Present.
Come on, put those together. What are they doing?
Rapping.
Rapping.
Presents.
Rapping presents. A rapping presents.
I got that one.
Poor Matt is sat behind
This
his screen
is
just going.
ridiculous. Okay, right, now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. You need to know some names here.
Oh,
right, now,
goodness.
who are these people? Who are these people?
I know her.
Right, what? Yeah. So who's that?
It's hard to tell these days.
Who's that?
Don't need those eyes.
Right. No, that's very cultural in the middle. Oh yeah. Okay, who are they?
Well, Becca told me the first one, Carol Vorderman.
Right. Okay. So keep that in your brain.
All right.
Her first name.
Carol.
Right.
That's Christmassy.
Right. Okay. And what are they doing?
Carol singing.
They're carol singers. They're carol singers. It's Carol Vorderman, Carol Smiley, and Carol Baskin from Tiger King, Shaz.
I don't know the other two.
Okay.
Hang on, was she on Wheel of Fortune with Nicky Campbell?
It's Carol Smiley. Smiley, Carol Smiley.
Yay.
There we go. You see?
I've never
fine.
seen someone so annoyed to get one.
Is angry that she knew one. Okay, right, so here we go, Becca.
Yes.
Now this one, what is happening here?
Oh no, that's Noddy.
Right,
Noddy.
so this is a Christmas thing. What's happening here?
Noddy's shrunk. Tiny Noddy, squishing his head.
No, so you don't think he's not squishing him? What's he
Is
doing?
he holding?
Right. So what is it Christmassy?
Who's that man?
Who sings
who's
all the
that
Christmas
man?
songs? Don't worry about that man.
Oh,
but
okay.
A name of someone to do with Christmas.
Oh!
Shazz has got
What
it.
is it?
Shazz has got it.
No, oh, I didn't know who that is.
What?
Oh, Noddy Holder.
Noddy Holder.
Hey!
I mean, there's a bit of cheating going. You're supposed to be winning here, Shazz.
We are winning.
Yeah, definitely.
Winning in life. Okay, right. So this is for Shazz. So Shazz, this is for you. This is for you. Right. So what's that?
Calendar.
Okay. What's happening? Calendar. And what's happening? What have I done? What have I done to the calendar?
You've put a grate on
No, no.
with a windy grate.
Right. Becca said it. She's not even playing. Right. What have I done?
Bent.
Bent.
So what
Oh,
have
advent calendar!
Oh,
Advent
very good.
calendar.
Oh, I've got
It's
that bit.
Advent
Thank you.
calendar.
Together we're good too.
Colin's just added event to the calendar.
Oh, I get what you mean now.
Advent calendar.
Is it just me? Sorry. Okay, fine.
This is why.
Shazz. This is the 9th one, okay?
Yeah.
And it's my favourite one.
But
You saw it?
Oh no, who's playing now?
Becca's still.
Becca.
I just
Becca.
Yeah.
Okay, Becca, this is my... Sorry, I got confused because you took over. Okay, this is my favourite one for Becca. Okay, before we go into the more competitive rounds. Now, what's this? Now, what's this here?
It's a winter wonderland.
Right, so what's happening here? Who's that?
Winter wonderland!
It's
Finally, go on.
Christopher Walken.
That is good. That's
Okay.
my favourite.
One of my favourites.
That's my
Okay,
favourite.
right now, Shazz, for this solo rounds, this is your last one.
Alright.
Okay? Okay, so say what you see. Say what you see.
Don't say that.
Okay, what do you see on screen?
I see a mummy.
Right. You do?
Yeah.
Very good. And what's happening to the mummy? Oh.
Santa Claus is stood in front of her and they've fallen in love.
Right, okay, now try and make that a bit more Christmassy.
Is it that
What's mummy?
kissing?
What's mummy there? What's mummy doing?
Mummy caught kissing Santa Claus?
You know that's true. I saw mummy kissing Santa
Santa.
Claus.
I think the kiss could have been better.
Yeah,
It looks
that
like the
is
mummy's
chicken.
taken him from behind.
It does look a bit like that, to be fair.
Oh, look, it's not going to be I saw mummy taking Father Christmas from behind, is it?
Well,
Say what
not
you
this
see,
year.
buddy.
Right, okay. Right, what are the scores at the moment, please, Matt? Oh, that was the...
Very, very tight.
Yes.
Becca 5, Shazz 4.
Oh, Becca 5, Shazz 4. We go into the fastest finger first round.
Okay.
The next one is whoever gets it first.
Have you got any buzzers?
Ah, buzzers!
Buzzers?
Awooga!
Oh, okay. Thank you. And Shazz? Okay. Good.
Thank you, Sarah Megan.
Good. Okay, fine. Here we go. Right, so what do you see? What do you see? Here we go. Fastest fingers first. This buzzer. What's that? What's that?
Tinkerbell.
No, well, yeah, what was Tinkerbell?
A fairy.
Right, and then, okay.
Fairy.
Keep saying what
Fairy
you say.
claws.
Well, what's that?
Fairy box.
Fairy.
Oh,
Fairy
New York!
tale in New York. Well done. Well
Oh,
done.
no, she gets that. She gets that.
She has a buzzer! Oh, this is why!
Yeah, that was definitely hers.
I was okay. I'm sorry.
It's definitely
No, give it to them.
No, give it to Shaz.
Give it,
I
okay,
tell you what,
give
I'm
it.
pointing.
Oh, well, Matt, you worked that one out. Okay, fine. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear Shazz's honk. Right. Okay, I will this time. Okay. What do you see? Right. Okay.
Night.
Okay.
Oh,
So
no.
if you know it, so okay, just say what you see until you think you know it. Okay.
Knights on a sword.
Okay.
Stew.
What's happened there? What's happened there?
Patch spell.
And he's got shh. Right. So what is it? What is it? It's two knights, and one's saying shh, and one's got some holes in him. Come on. Yeah. Shazz.
A silent night.
Oh, holy night. Oh, that's really good.
Good. Good. Okay, next one. Say what you see. Fast finger first. Okay. I like this one. Right. Okay. No, that's not the word. Okay.
You said bell.
Okay.
Two bells.
Okay. And. Mine.
The Rock.
And Dwayne Johnson.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, Dwayne Johnson.
Well, no, I'm not going to say what it is. So it's
Oh, I
Dwayne
see.
Johnson. So what do you see? What is that on the left there? What do they? What sounds do they make?
Ring a ding. Rock around the Christmas tree. Ring.
You are almost right, Becca. But you need to make a buzzer. You need to make a buzzer.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, you're gone.
Is it rock around the Christmas
No,
tree?
it's not. But you're very close.
Rock.
It's good, but it's not great.
Oh my
what
God.
can we say? Shazz? Yeah?
Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle Bell
damn
Rock.
it.
Jingle Bell Rock. Very good.
I have to say,
That was say what you
they're
say.
quicker online than you are.
Oh,
Are they putting it
Some
in?
are putting in the chat.
Well done,
Oh,
people.
disgusted.
Well
I'm
done.
delighted for you. Well done.
I am
Face it,
delighted.
it's no surprise.
I'm delighted but not surprised.
I have the suspense.
Okay, there's a cat looking through the window that's being more quick. Okay, right, let's have a... Okay, right, here we go, right. What's happening here? Oh, now...
Frost.
What character?
I feel like I'm doing all the work then, she's just swimming
Okay,
in.
what character is that? Right, oh, right.
Frosty.
Frosty the Snowman!
Frosty the Snowman. It is Frosty the Snowman.
It
Well
is
done,
though, isn't
okay,
it?
very
Thank you very
good.
much.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Shazz. Okay, here we go. Next one. Say what you see, Shazz. Say what you see. What's happening here? Cough sweets, yes.
Deck the halls with bells of holly.
Deck the halls. It is deck the halls.
Done.
That's all it's ever been, isn't it? How many Christmas halls are there?
Okay.
Why did you punch it?
Because he's decking it. Come on, you grew up in Cornwall.
True.
When you deck someone, my God.
They don't get us anyway.
Okay, fine. Now, this is my favourites. Okay, say what you see. Say what you see. Okay, who's this?
Oh,
Yeah.
Holly and the Ivy.
Right, okay, it is Holly and the Ivy. And then there's the Ivy. It's Holly and the Ivy.
Oh!
Yeah, got in there. Okay.
Holly someone.
We love the NHS. Well done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well done, NHS.
Well done.
Okay, so here we go. Now this one, I'll warn you, is a little bit punny. Alright, and I was losing the plot at this point, making the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Okay, so... oh, what are they? What's that?
It's a bell again.
Bell.
isn't
What
it?
noise does that bell make, though?
Dong.
Right, okay. Fair enough. That's a high mountain, isn't it? It's a very tall mountain.
Ding dong. Haruga. Ding dong. Marilyn on high.
Very close. Well, very close, but it's ding dong.
Cheesily on high.
What is the maker cheese?
Dairy Lee.
On
Ding
high.
on
Ding dong, Dairy Lee on high.
Okay. Then I think I get 2 points.
Yeah, I think you do.
Thank you.
Really?
Well, I like 1 point for that.
Well, no. The really wasn't the 2 points. The really was
The ding dong dairy.
Ding dong, Dairy Lee on high.
Yep.
Okay. Right, now, what is this? What is this? Now, all that, what is that?
That's a nuclear weapon.
That's
which
a
we're
nuclear
very
weapon.
down on.
Right, okay, it's not a rocket or a nuclear, but it is. And what's this?
Missile.
mistletoe and wine.
Mistletoe and wine.
Very good.
Mistletoe and wine.
Sort of use my buzzer noise though.
Well, she did, but that's okay.
Is
All
it?
right.
I think I'll be judged.
Okay. Now, it's nearly the last one.
This is the last
No,
one.
penultimate.
Okay.
Penultimate. And I don't know what the scores are. It's very, very interesting. Okay, here we
Pretty
go.
sure
Both of
they
you.
are.
Both of you. Right, so what is happening here? Who is this? Who is that?
I recognise the face.
If we don't know who that is, we are very worried.
She's better at this.
Okay, sorry, Shazz, who is that? And who's it pointing to? Who is the actor? Come on home. You know who? Yeah, go on, Shazz.
Little Tim. Small Tim.
Think of a Christmas.
Tiny Tim. Aruga, Tiny Tim.
Oh, swooped in like an angry seagull after a pasty. Did you see that? Wow, Tiny Tim is Timothy's fool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he is tiny now. That's why I recognise him.
Yeah, and he's not that tiny. by the way. He's not tiny.
He's got a drawn face that I wasn't expecting.
Right, it's not drawn, it's a photograph.
Why not puns?
Right, last one, everyone, before we can all go back to our own lives. Okay, ready? Right, Shazz?
Yep.
I feel you're going to deck me in a minute.
No, just quietly rage.
Deck the Colin. Right, what is this? This is a Christmas film. What is this? Yeah?
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Oh,
It's a Home Alone.
Genius.
No.
That's very clever. You not so much. No, both that's really. This is very clever.
As Roy Walker would say, right, let's see who's won. But he would say it in a proper Irish accent. What is the score? Becca has 8.
A generous.
And
score.
Shazz has 11. What?
Yeah, very good.
I'm very surprised. Shazz, I love you very much, but I thought you were quite bad at that.
But it turns out that's okay because you're pitching against me. I'm very well.
There you go.
A
Well, there you go. A Christmas catchphrase.
Yay! I thought I was going to hate that and I absolutely loved it, even though I was shocking at it.
Very good.
Right, you can go and sit down.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to do that.
Everyone, Santa Claus, aka.
Well done at home. Well done at home. Well done.
Colin Leggo. Woo! You can't go. You go. Oh, go on, you get your book. Well, in grand style, we have lurched to the end of tonight's salon. I hope you enjoyed Catchphrase at home. I have two last things to do with you. One is to say thank you for this vote, you lovely, lovely people who have voted Jingle Bells to be the last song.
Hey!
I didn't have to cheat at all, you just barely went there, thank you very much. But before we do that, we thought we'd just read you, it's a little quick bit of, last little bit of daftness really, me and Shazz. And it's there was a project for the radio, the first bit of radio I've ever been asked to do, which was obviously very exciting. And it had to be shorter than I was. It's not very long, but it was something that I wrote. Basically, I sort of pulled it together, but it's really extremely. I mean, it exists, but it's based on you and your mum, and great chunks of it are things that she actually said, aren't they? So it's really a co-write, or I just collated, and all the inspiration is Shazz and her wonderful mum and all the matriarchs in your family, aren't they, really? All the way down. Yeah. So it's something called The Survivalist. If you want to hear the version that was produced on the radio, Shazz is going to read the old woman in it, which was read on the radio by Susan Penhaligon, which we feel like Shazz's mum would have been really chuffed with.
She would have been really coy about it, like she would have felt a bit weird about Susan Penhaligon playing her, and then she would have been out on the pavement going, I don't know about you, but I'm on Radio 2 or whatever, Radio 4, and Susan Penhaligon's playing me, I don't know if you know that. So wherever she is now, she'll be telling everyone.
So we're very pleased about that.
Yeah.
And I will just be the other person. And if you want to hear it, it's called the UK Project, and it's on BBC Sounds. But this is our the fuller.
It's Camborne on that.
It's called Camborne on that. I called it The Survivalist. Here it is for you. It's snapshots coming out of the lockdowns at the end of the summer, and then kind of coming towards the end of the summer. My mistake, Camborne. It's me, Nan.
Cooey, in the parlour, darling.
Oh God, can you turn the TV down a bit, Nan?
He's ferocious.
Who? What? Where's the remote? Him?
Ryan Clark. Colour of him. Ferocious. The natural.
No, I shouldn't think it is.
Oh, good girl. I've got my wheatie now. What did I say about Phillips's baked goods? I said I'll not have their sausage roll again.
It's actually not.
You brought me a Phillips's sausage roll first lockdown, and I said that's yesterday's.
It's
and it's not a sausage roll; it's a saffron bun.
No,
Phillips's is the only one to do proper saffron buns in Camborne, whereas the one you bought me from the beginning of the year.
I think there was a Berrystones.
Oh, Berrystones. Not enough saffron, tasting like a white bun. Why Berrystones never ever did away with their seedy bun is beyond me. That was a special bun.
Well, this one is Phil's.
Oh, where's that pasty you got for me? Oh, Jesus, Henry. Meat's all dead one end, pastries too short, falling apart when you try and grab one. Old pepper, no butter, drier than a wooden god. Pasty's gotta be moist.
Oh, Nan, that word.
Oh, don't be moist. Daft and crimping, too thick.
Now, what you're doing now is you're just rolling together all the times in lockdown that I wronged you with pasties into one long criticism.
Well, you couldn't get it right, could you?
I went everywhere. Burroughs, Berrystones, Phillips, Williams, Penrose.
And I kept telling you, Cornish oven.
And I kept telling you, no one's allowed to drive. I had to bring you stuff from the places I could walk to. Cornish oven isn't in Camborne, it might be the only pasty place that isn't.
I didn't say, I just want you to support those local boys in their business.
They weren't local enough.
They went to school with you.
I couldn't get to the Cornish oven on foot.
Community is very important, Anna.
Nan!
Gravy's nice and moist. Oh, I love that woman.
Who?
Her.
Her on Give Us a Clue?
Yeah. Where'd her surname come from?
Denmark?
How do I pronounce it?
Toksvik.
Toksvik. Toksvik. I love Sandy Toksvik.
Nan, I was thinking we could take a drive now to Cornish oven.
I'm not going out there to swarming with emmets. They'll come from all over bringing their goes what?
Well, I don't think Camborne West is the UK's top tourist attraction. Nan, they'll all be at the beach.
They'll be there with their clean cars and their clean wellies all covered in up-country germs.
Well, you know, you could just have your jabs and you'd be invincible.
I told you before, and I am telling you again, I'm not a lab rat. Who knows what's in them? I'm not letting Boris Johnson make a guinea pig out of me. Never chewed my cabbages twice.
He's not personally creating the vaccines.
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. He's got no sense of community. Cutting this service, clapping for that one. Just pay the poor buggers. Nurses can't live on applause. 'Tis an abominable shame, and I don't understand why he won't cut his hair. He's the richest man in the country. He can afford a nice haircut. You can't trust a man who could have a haircut but chooses to cover his eyes, and I can't understand a word he says. Makes me hellish.
I think he's just really posh.
Oh, he's too fast and too posh. I've the multitudes of sins, if so he thinks, but I don't hide them from me. I can tell he's a greedy tuss.
Well, I've had my jabs.
Ah, you know.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to mutate for your very eyes.
You know, you fandangle jump in the jab queue then.
Oh, my lifetime of chronic asthma finally paid off.
Oh, my little Louisiana, 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 down where the watermelons grow, hot ho. Oh, that's what we used to sing to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Oh, you were such a lovely little girl with your little wheeze and your poorly itchy red patches.
Oh, I sound delightful.
Oh, you were, my darling. You're still my best girl. Don't look her state.
Nan!
Well, she don't visit like you do.
She's trying to lure you out. When are you going to come to Sunday dinner again? Look, you can see Mum again and the kids and Kirsty, because you've survived the worst of it now. We can all sit outside in Mum's garden if you like. You've got to come out sometime.
No, we'll see about that. Besides, I'm growing my own veg, and I come out at the weekend, and I just sits in the polytunnel and has a sherry with next door. Then with the cats, you know, Gary and Sheila.
Gavin and Cheryl?
Yeah, that's what I said. And they'd come and sit on the other side of the polytunnel, and we'd have chat, and I'd feel safe from all the germs out there, and Darren on the other side.
David?
That's what I said. Now, he's given me his Netflix code, and I'm watching all sorts. Now, have you seen that Bridgerington?
Bridgington? Yes, I have now.
Oh, the things they'd do on the stairs, staircases and ladders, and had a little blonde girl. I thought, she's so bony, she bruised her back, there's nothing to her.
We miss you, Nan.
Well, we'll see how the autumn goes when the visitors are gone, and well, we know we've all got the jabs. And here, before you go, I've left you a bag of courgettes by the front door, and if you pop the downstairs lab, you can pick yourself up some toms and some soft fruits, raspberries and all that.
Nan? You growing spinach in your bath?
Yes, right.
Where'd you wash?
Oh, I just shower up one end, the spinach to light the water, and there's no need for me to be bathing. There's no one messing around with me on the stairs.
I'll be back on Sunday and I'll bring Kirsty. Love you, Nan.
Bye, 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 bye. Love you, bye, 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 bye. Courgettes!
I've got them, all 10 ton of them.
Good girl.
Lovely Shazz, winner of catchphrase, purveyor of wonderful Nans. Right, I'm going to...
Story part 2.
Oh, so true. I'm just getting myself ready so that at the end of the story part 2, I can come seamlessly in and just do you a bit of Jingle Bells. I'm not going to just otherwise just forget that, and Matt didn't just save the day there. Shazz, are you ready to finish off? We've got the votes are in. We know it's Jingle Bells for the song, but which ending is it?
Ooh.
Should we do a quick drum roll? Okay, and it is. They want you to go deeper.
First time ever.
Whoa,
They want me to stay in the past.
First time going deeper.
Deeper, they want me to go in. Ooh, right. Oh, I'm so excited, I've got to find my place. Hang on. Seamless again. Now, am I on the right page?
Say what you see, Shazz.
Paper. Ah, there we go. There we go. So I go there, and then I go over here. Right. Okie dokie. I don't know how these things work, but I brought your child back, and I know it's my fault that they are dead. So please, take back your child with my sorrow, or take it with me. But please leave these islands be. I can't hear you, but I can see you move. As you will then. I'm bending down slowly, and I've got your child in my arms. I'm returning her to the water. I don't know what that means, and I don't know if I will drown, but it will be some other place. And I don't know if this is vengeance or a learning. I thank you for your mercy on these islands, on my home. At least I can hope that's what this means. The water is deep now and I can hardly keep my balance. I hope this is a bargain and not a trick. I don't want to have in any way them back home know what's wrong. I should have thought of that, but something takes me a minute to get hold of everything, and I've got nothing left except what you believe, and that's not clear to me. So I will keep walking.
You are beggars. Why don't you go deeper? Blimey. Well, I'm going to just change the vibe for the very last couple of minutes of this. I'm going to get Shazz, I'm going to get Santa, and we're going to do a lovely rendition of Jingle Bells. Thank you so much, Alice Trevell, for that story. What a corker. Oh, and listen, they're actual bells. See? Oh, actual Santa. So you're being rewarded for your very generous vote. Very glad. I was dreading it was going to be a little town. Right, okay. They've been carefully trained, whipped into some sort of frenzy of obedience, my special guest for this bit. They know when they're supposed to come in.
Oh, yes.
Reassuring. Here we go. Join in at home. Thank you so much. You've been bally lovely. Have just marvellous Christmases. Be merry and bright. And let's hope 2022 is wonderful for us all.